Shalom, my friends, from here in the Holy Land. I just have to say already now that if there's a siren that will go off, I have to run to my bomb shelter and I'm going to close this Facebook Live. We've already been in our bomb shelters 4 times today, me and my family, with ballistic missiles from Iran exploding overhead. But it was important for me to come and to talk to you and to share with you what I'm feeling. What we're seeing now can be interpreted, everything, in 2 different ways. You can look at it as a political situation, or you can look at it as a spiritual situation. And I believe that the only way to look at what's happening right now is through spiritual eyes, because it doesn't make sense. You have tiny Israel, the size of New Jersey, surrounded by 300 million Arabs, 7.5 million Jews here. Israel takes up around 0.4% of the Middle East land, and we're surrounded by 99.6% of the land that's occupied, that historically since 1948 people have wanted to destroy Israel, and yet we're still here. And what we've seen is spiritual warfare throughout the world that's been growing so quickly. We've been seeing these values that the Western society, that the Abrahamic societies have been built on, of sanctity of life, value of life, of freedom, that's been coming apart at the seams. And then we have these radical Islamist leaders who are unapologetically saying death to Israel, death to America. Unapologetically saying, first we're going to go for the Saturday people, the Jews, and then we're going to go for the Sunday people, the Christians, and they're acting on it. We have October 7th, which was the worst attack on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. Just yesterday, there was an attack in Syria on a Christian church. A suicide bomber killed over 24 people. You see the number of Christians across the Middle East going down and down and down, and more Christians being killed. And we still aren't waking up to listen to what this evil is saying. They're saying death to Israel, death to America. They're saying first the Saturday people and then the Sunday people. And you have people in the West who are standing up for these terrorist regimes, who are saying, oh, no, we should let them stay. And their power has been growing and growing and growing until people in the free world have said, we can't let it spread any longer. We have to take action. And is there a pain in trying to wipe out evil? Yes, there's a lot of pain. We've been in our bomb shelters for 2 weeks. The children don't have school. The workplaces are closed. I'm on the ground with the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, distributing food to people who are hungry, placing bomb shelters to people who have been attacked. There's a pain in it. But either we feel the pain now of getting rid of this barbarism, or we feel the pain of the barbarism spreading and having it be running our lives. And so what we're seeing now is spiritual warfare. And I saw President Trump, after the successful attack of American troops on the Iranian nuclear reactor, we saw President Trump publicly say thank you to God. And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel, he went to the Western Wall to say his thanksgiving to God, because these leaders of the free world realize that this is spiritual warfare, and we have to stop it before it destroys everything we hold sacred. And so just now, there was a huge attack that Iran just sent tons of missiles. We don't even know how many yet because it just happened, to American bases across the Gulf, across the Middle East, trying to harm and kill American soldiers. And it seems like, again, we don't have full information yet, but it seems like the rockets didn't hit, that the rockets didn't penetrate. It seems like there isn't even mass destruction, let alone mass killing. It seems like those rockets were launched with the intention to hurt and kill Americans, and they didn't succeed. There are videos, I just posted it on my page, of the skies over Qatar filled with Iranian missiles as Iran targets American troops in Qatar and the army base there. And yet we hear that those rockets didn't land on the American base and didn't kill any people, any troops. This is also, of course, a military achievement, but it's a spiritual achievement. This is the promise of Genesis 12:3 that we are seeing before our eyes, in front of our eyes. And we can wake up to it And we can see God is blessing those that bless Israel. God is helping and supporting and strengthening those who are fighting for his values. God is bringing success to these people in these countries that are standing up for truth and sanctity of life and holiness in people and in a free society against death cults that just cherish death. God promises, when you stand for my values, I'll bless it. Hashem oz le'amo yiten, Hashem yivarech et amo b'shalom. The Lord blesses his nation with strength. The Lord blesses his nation with peace. That if we are willing to use force and strength to stand up for the values that God holds dear, he will bless us with peace. He will bring that promise of Genesis 12:3 to life. And so what I just saw of all those Iranian rockets being launched and not causing harm or huge loss of life to American troops is a miracle. And it's the promise of Genesis 12:3 coming to life before our eyes. We just have to open up our eyes to it. So let me know what you think. Do you think that this is just another military situation? That tiny Israel, the size of New Jersey, has had over 35,000 rockets launched at it from 7 different fronts and is still here surviving. Not only that, we've been able to take out the dangerous weapons and physical warfare, not just spiritual warfare. We've been able to knock out these terror groups from all 7 fronts, from Gaza, from Hezbollah in Lebanon, from Syria, from the Houthis in Yemen, directly to the biggest sponsor of them all, Iran. This is a miracle. This is a David against Goliath. This is like the story of Purim, that it all turns around. Iranian regime the Islamist regime there wanted to wipe off Israel from the map, and now they are being destroyed. It's the Bible coming to life in front of our eyes, and God very clearly saying, I will perform miracles when you stand up for me, for my values, and what I hold sacred. So from here in Israel, continue to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Continue to pray that the light will outshine the darkness, that these values of freedom and democracy and hope and the Judeo-Christian values of sanctity of life, that is what will win, that is what will spread over the world, and that the Islamic terror that we've been seeing, all sponsored by Iran, will no longer exist. Amen, amen. Amen. Shalom.